All right, you dickheads, welcome back to the show. Today, we're going deep on Elon Musk's The Boring Company. We've got a shitload of info from their Wikipedia page, so
It's a wild ride.
ready to learn some shit about tunnels,
This covers
flamethrowers, and how this goddamn company pisses people off.
part engineering marvel, part publicity stunt. All Elon Musk. We'll unpack how they're supposedly revolutionizing tunneling.
Okay, let's unpack this Boring Company bullshit.
And trust me,
First off,
some of their ideas are batshit insane.
how the hell did this whole thing even start?
But also kind of genius.
Did Elon just wake up one morning and decide, fuck it, I'm gonna dig some holes?
Pretty much. It all stems from his frustration with LA traffic.
Typical Elon, right?
Dude's got Teslas,
Thinks he can just bulldoze his way through any problem?
rockets,
So did he just grab a shovel and start digging in his backyard, or what?
spaceships, but still gets stuck in traffic like the rest of us suckers, so he figured, why not just dig a goddamn tunnel and bypass the whole mess? It started as a little side project under SpaceX back in 2016, just a casual weekend hobby for a guy who launches rockets for a living.
But then,
But then in 2018,
2018.
the Boring Company became its own separate entity, and of course Elon owns over 90% of it.
Classic fucking move. Control freak, much. All right, so what have these tunnel rats actually accomplished? Besides burning through Elon's cash, I mean...
They've actually built two main tunnels so far. One is the Hawthorne Test Tunnel in California, a 1.14-mile stretch under SpaceX headquarters.
Wait, Tesla pods?
They use it to test their high speed.
Like those weird-ass vacuum tube
This
things?
autonomous Tesla pods.
They're talking about for Hyperloop?
Similar concept, but not exactly the same. They literally use Tesla cars as pods in this tunnel, and they've managed to hit speeds of 116 miles per hour.
Holy shit, that's faster than my ex-wife running away from our marriage counselor. But hold on, if these things are going that fast underground, how the hell do they keep them from crashing?
That's where it gets interesting. To hit those speeds safely underground, they've had to develop some pretty sophisticated stabilization systems. And air pressure management within the tunnels is a whole different ballgame compared to driving on the surface.
I'm not just digging a hole and chucking Teslas down there. There's
Yep.
actually some serious engineering going on. Color me surprised. All right, what about the other tunnel?
The other operational tunnel is the Las Vegas Convention Center loop. It's about 1.7 miles long and connects different parts of the convention center.
Hold the fuck up.
They're using Teslas as shuttles here, too,
35 miles per hour.
but at a much slower pace of 35 miles per hour.
That's slower than a goddamn snail. What's the point of a tunnel if it's not going to be super fast?
Well, the idea is to move people around the convention center quickly and efficiently, avoiding traffic jams above ground.
Let me guess.
In theory, it sounds great.
It's a total clusterfuck.
But in practice, let's just say there have been reports of major traffic jams inside the tunnel,
So Elon's tunnel is just a more expensive underground traffic jam.
especially during busy events.
That's fucking hilarious.
Not exactly the smooth sailing, futuristic transportation system they promised.
What a bunch of bullshit.
Hey, they're still working out the kinks. Plus, they've got much bigger plans for Vegas.
Oh, yeah. Like what, a tunnel to the all-you-can-eat buffet?
Funnier than you think. They're actually working on a massive project called the Vegas Loop.
Oh,
Imagine a 65-mile tunnel network running under the entire city.
now that's some next-level shit.
Hmm.
But 65 miles, that's one expensive-ass hole in the ground. How the hell are they even planning to build that?
It's estimated to cost billions, yeah. But the plan is to connect all the major spots.
Wait, the tunnel from Vegas to L.A.?
Casinos,
Are they fucking high?
the airport, the stadium,
That seems batshit crazy.
and potentially even stretching all the way to LA.
Even for Elon.
That's our Elon, always shooting for the moon. Or in this case, digging under it.
But let's get into how they're actually building these tunnels.
Yeah.
Yeah, how the fuck do you dig a hole that big?
Hmm.
Do they have an army of midgets with shovels down there or something?
Not quite. They've developed their own custom design tunnel boring machines,
OEBM.
or TBMs for short.
Sounds about as exciting as watching paint dry.
Well, they are literally boring machines, but these things are pretty badass.
Hold up.
They're called proof rock,
True Frock.
and they're designed to be way faster
Like that depressing-ass T.S. Eliot poem.
and cheaper than traditional TBMs.
I should have been a pair of ragged claws scuttling across the floors of silent seas. What kind of name is that for a giant drilling machine?
Your guess is as good as mine. Elon's got a weird taste in names.
But there's actually a pretty cool thing about these machines.
But there's actually a pretty cool thing about these machines. They use a technique called porpoising.
Porpoising, like those dolphins jumping out of the water?
Exactly. Imagine a dolphin surfacing for air. That's essentially what the TBM does.
Okay, that's actually pretty clever.
It pops out of the ground.
I gotta give them that.
Like a goddamn dolphin.
So it just pops out of the ground.
Minimizing surface disruption.
In the middle of the street, imagine the look on people's faces. Honey, I think a giant grill is coming up through the pavement.
I'm sure they have designated areas for it. But yeah, it's a pretty innovative approach.
And it's not the only trick they have up their sleeve.
And it's not the only trick they have up their sleeve. They also use these electric...
Autonomous trucks?
Autonomous liner trucks.
Down in a tunnel.
Powered by, you guessed it,
What if those things go rogue and start smashing into the walls?
Tesla batteries.
Of course they do. Gotta keep it in the family.
I'm sure they have safety protocols in place.
The goal is to automate as much of the process as possible.
The goal is to automate as much of the process as possible.
Their ultimate aim is continuous tunneling.
Their ultimate aim is continuous tunneling, which means digging 24/7 without stopping for lining installation.
Damn, that's ambitious as fuck.
Yeah.
But hey, if anyone can pull it off, it's probably Elon. But let's be real. Is this whole thing just a giant PR stunt? I mean, they did sell those flamethrowers, right?
Oh, yeah. The flamethrowers. Can't forget those.
Yeah.
They sold 20,000 of them.
That pretty much sums up Elon, doesn't it?
Brilliant marketing.
Genius and bad shit crazy all rolled into one.
But also kind of fucked up.
But hold on. I've heard some rumblings about this company being shady as fuck. Something about OSHA violations.
Yeah. That's where things get a little less boring.
So not only is this shit expensive,
There have been multiple OSHA violations,
it's also potentially dangerous.
accusations of dangerous working conditions,
Tell me more.
and some hefty fines.
I'm loving this.
Well, according to reports,
Wait,
there have been issues with ventilation,
no emergency exits in a tunnel?
emergency exits,
Are they fucking kidding me?
fire suppression systems.
What if there's a fire? Or the tunnel collapses?
Yeah.
You're basically screwed.
That's what critics are saying. And it's not just the safety concerns. There are also questions about the capacity of these tunnels.
How many people can you cram into a single-lane tunnel anyway? It's not exactly a subway, is it?
Right. Some experts argue that these tunnels can't handle high traffic volumes compared to traditional subways.
This shit's probably a giant waste of money.
Plus, there's the whole issue of cost effectiveness. Well, some argue that existing public transit solutions
Yeah.
are simply cheaper
So this whole thing could just be Elon's way of playing in a giant sandbox
and more practical.
with billions of dollars.
They see the Boring Company as more of a vanity project
Classic Elon.
than a viable solution.
All right, I'm hooked. This is way more interesting than I thought it would be. But we've barely scratched the surface, right?
Oh, there's plenty more to unpack.
There's got to be more to this story.
We haven't even gotten into the political shitstorm
Oh shit, politics.
surrounding the Boring Company.
Now you're talking. It's about to get juicy.
Let's just say the Boring Company has generated its fair share of controversy.
I knew it.
From environmental concerns to accusations of political favoritism.
There's always drama with Elon. Are you degenerates? Stay tuned for part 2 of this deep dive into the Boring Company. We're going to dig even deeper and expose all the dirt. It's going to be a wild ride.
Welcome back, you degenerates.
Hell yeah. Last time we left off talking about the political shitstorm surrounding the Boring Company.
Let's dig deeper into this Boring Company bullshit.
Let's dive into that cesspool. What kind of political crap are we talking about here?
Well, first off, there's the whole environmental impact thing.
Yeah, no shit.
Digging massive tunnels under cities
It's not like trees are going to sprout out of those tunnels.
isn't exactly eco-friendly, you know?
So what's the big deal? Are they going to unleash a toxic fart cloud or something?
Not quite, but there are serious concerns about disrupting ecosystems.
And let's not forget the carbon footprint
Groundwater contamination,
of all those electric trucks and Teslas
noise pollution during construction.
they're running down there. Seems kind of counterproductive if you ask me.
Right. The Boring Company claims they're offsetting their emissions,
Sounds like a bunch of greenwashing crap to me.
but environmental groups are calling bullshit.
But hey, Elon's probably too busy counting his billions to give a shit about a few goddamn trees. What else is pissing people off about this whole tunnel thing?
There have been accusations of favoritism towards the Boring Company in the bidding process for these projects.
Favoritism, you mean like someone's greasing palms to get Elon's company these contracts. Sounds about right.
It's not quite that blatant, But there have been questions raised
Okay, see.
about the transparency and fairness of some of the deals,
Taxpayers could be footing the bill for Elon's tunnel dreams.
especially considering the potential cost overruns and delays
That's some fucked up shit.
that often plague these kinds of infrastructure projects.
It's definitely a possibility.
And then there's the potential impact on existing public transportation systems.
Right. Because who needs buses and trains when you've got Elon's magic tunnels, right?
Exactly. The concern is that these tunnels could siphon funding and resources away
So instead of improving the shitty public transportation we already have,
from already struggling public transit systems.
we're going to throw billions at Elon's shiny new toys. Brilliant. Who the hell is actually going to use these tunnels anyway? Rich assholes who can afford a Tesla.
That's another criticism. Some argue that these tunnels cater to the wealthy elite,
Dan,
not the everyday commuter.
this is getting deep.
It creates a two-tier transportation system,
I thought we were just talking about tunnels,
which could further exacerbate inequality.
not the downfall of society. But okay,
Yeah.
let's step back for a second and pretend we don't give a shit about the environment or poor people. Are these tunnels even a good idea in the first place? I mean, digging tunnels isn't exactly a new concept.
Exactly.
We've had subways for like 100 years.
And subways can move a lot more people
So why tunnels?
than these single-lane tunnels.
Why now?
Plus, you don't need a goddamn Tesla
Is it just because Elon is bored
to ride the subway.
and wants to play with giant drilling machines?
There's probably some truth to that. But the Boring Company does make some compelling arguments.
Yeah, okay.
They claim their tunnels are cheaper and faster to build
And I've got a bridge to sell you.
than traditional subways. Their methods are innovative, though.
But is it actually more efficient?
The porpoising technique, the continuous tunneling,
Or are they just cutting corners
they're definitely pushing the boundaries
and sacrificing safety?
of what's possible in tunneling technology.
Let's not forget about the whole trapped in a tunnel with no emergency exit thing.
Yeah, that's a pretty major design flaw. It's like Elon watched too many sci-fi movies
It's a classic Elon move.
and forgot about basic safety protocols.
High risk, high reward. But the question is, who reaps the rewards? And who gets screwed if it all goes to shit?
That's the million-dollar question. The Boring Company isn't just about tunnels.
Whoa, hold on.
It's about the future of transportation
That's some deep shit right there.
and how technology is shaping our cities.
I need a beer after that one. But, okay, let's lighten things up a bit. What other crazy shit has the Boring Company cooked up? I heard something about a medieval-themed restaurant.
Ah, yes. The Boring Company eatery in medieval times.
Seriously, what the fuck is that all about?
Only Elon Musk could come up with some shit like that.
Is he going to have knights jousting while people are trying to eat their burgers?
It's a proposed underground restaurant
So it's like medieval times,
and entertainment complex.
but underground and probably 10 times more expensive.
featuring jousting tournaments, fire-breathing performers, and of course, medieval-themed cuisine.
Most likely.
Yeah.
The details are still pretty vague. But Elon has said he wants it to be the most awesome restaurant in the world. I can already see the Yelp reviews now. Food was okay, but the tunnel collapse was a bit of a downer.
All right, enough with the medieval bullshit. What about that Hyperloop thing? Are they actually going to shoot people through tubes at the speed of sound?
The Boring Company is actually working on incorporating Hyperloop technology into their tunnels.
So they're going to have tunnels within tunnels. Is this some kind of Inception shit?
Not exactly.
My brain can't handle this.
It's more about using Hyperloop technology.
So no supersonic human cannonballs just yet.
To increase the speed and efficiency
Yeah,
of the pods within the existing tunnels.
that's a shame. What else have these crazy bastards come up with?
Well, they have this idea for autonomous electric skates they call loop skates.
Loop skates. Sounds like some shit out of Back to the Future. Where we're going to be cruising through tunnels. On hoverboards now.
Not quite hoverboards, but picture small electric platforms
150 miles per hour.
that can carry up to 16 people at speeds
On skates.
up to 150 miles per hour.
That's a recipe for disaster. Someone's going to lose a limb for sure.
The idea is to have these skates zip through the tunnels, providing a faster and more flexible alternative.
So it's like a roller coaster, but in a tunnel.
The Tesla pods.
I can already see it now. A bunch of tourists screaming their heads off while clinging onto those skates for dear life. All right, enough with the futuristic bullshit. Let's get real here. Is the Boring Company actually the future of transportation?
It's probably a bit of both.
Or is Elon just fucking with us all?
They're doing some genuinely innovative things, but they're also prone to hype and overpromising.
That's Elon in a nutshell. But hey, got to give the man credit for thinking outside the box, even if that box is buried 100 feet underground. But what's the final verdict?
Only time will tell.
Are we all going to be zipping around in Teslas
But one thing's for sure.
and eating turkey legs in underground castles anytime soon?
The Boring Company is a story worth following, even if it ends up being a cautionary tale.
You know what they say? It's better to be a spectacular failure than a boring success. And I don't think anyone would ever accuse Elon Musk of being boring. All right, you degenerates. That's all we've got for part 2 of this deep dive. Stay tuned for part 3, where we'll explore the even weirder side of the Boring Company. It's going to be a wild ride. All right, you fuckers, welcome back to the final round of our deep dive into Elon Musk's The Boring Company. We've covered the basics, the bullshit, and now we're going full-blown batshit crazy
Indeed.
with this company's wacky ideas.
We've talked about the practicalities.
You mean the part where he's basically a billionaire playing with Tonka trucks in a giant sandbox?
Yeah.
The controversies.
Except the Tonka trucks are giant drilling machines.
And now it's time to explore
And the sandbox is a whole goddamn city.
the more imaginative side of Elon's tunneling adventures.
I wouldn't phrase it exactly like that, but there's definitely a sense of, let's say, unconventional thinking behind some of their ideas. Unconventional thinking. This is Elon Musk we're talking about. Unconventional is his middle name. All right, hit me with the crazy. What kind of wild-ass shit are we talking about here?
Well,
Besides the medieval-themed restaurant,
Remember that Hyperloop thing we mentioned earlier?
which I'm still trying to wrap my head around.
The super fast vacuum-sealed tube that's supposed to shoot people across the country at the speed of
The
sound.
one that's basically a giant straw for humans? Sounds terrifying, but also kind of awesome. Are they actually going to try to cram that shit into a tunnel?
You bet your ass they are. The Boring Company is working on integrating Hyperloop technology into their tunnel.
Hold up. So they're going to have tunnels within tunnels. This is some Inception-level shit.
Not exactly tunnels within tunnels.
Where the brain is about to melt.
But they want to utilize Hyperloop tech to boost the speed and efficiency of those Tesla pods within the tunnels.
So no supersonic human cannonballs just yet. Damn. That's a missed opportunity, if you ask me. All right, what else is on the menu of insanity?
They've got this concept called loop skates.
Loop skates. Sounds like something out of a 70s roller disco. What are we going to be grooving through tunnels in bell-bottoms and platform shoes?
Not quite disco ready, but picture this. Small electric platforms that carry up to 16 people at speeds, up to 150 miles per hour.
150 miles per hour on skates. That's a recipe for disaster. Someone's going to get their ass suit off.
The idea is to have these skates zipping through the tunnels, a faster and more flexible alternative.
Or to the Tesla pod.
So it's like a roller coaster, but
Yep.
underground and probably a million times more dangerous. I can already picture it. A bunch of tourists shitting their pants
Yeah.
while clinging on to these things for dear life. This has disaster written all over it. All right, let's be real here. Is the Boring Company really the future of transportation? It's probably a bit of both.
Or is Elon just fucking with us all?
They're doing some innovative things, but there's a ton of hype and overpromising.
Yeah, that's our Elon. Big ideas, even bigger ego. But hey, I gotta admire the balls on this guy. He's not afraid to swing for the fences, even if he strikes out spectacularly. What's the final verdict? Are we all gonna be riding around in Teslas and eating turkey legs in underground medieval castles anytime soon?
Only time will tell. But one thing's for sure. The Boring Company is a wild ride, even if it turns out to be a complete train wreck.
Well, that's a comforting thought. All right, you magnificent bastards. That's all we've got for today's deep dive into the wacky world of the Boring Company. Join us next time when we'll be dissecting some other crazy shit that's happening in the world. Until then, stay curious, stay skeptical, and try not to get run over by a Tesla in a tunnel.
And for God's sake, don't buy a flamethrower.